What's good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another Nintendo Switch and RPG news video. Today, we've got a great topic for you guys because we're discussing the excellent port for Persona 5 Royal on the Nintendo Switch and pretty much explaining exactly what I wanted to talk about with this game finally coming. I wanted to go over the reviews, the positives, the negatives, and what this game is all about on the Nintendo Switch specifically. Now, the reviews are up on pretty much all platforms as of the time that I am recording this video, so I'm not really going to be talking about Xbox or the PlayStation 5 version. The Switch version seems to have the most reviews out of all of the new versions of the game. So we're talking PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S, Xbox Series X, Xbox One, in addition to the Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch has 19 critical reviews compared to the Xbox Series X that has, I think, 7. Yes, 7 reviews. On the Xbox One, there are 0 reviews because it's smart delivery. And on the PlayStation 5, there are only 2 reviews. Now, I do think that there is some type of marketing deal that's going on because the PlayStation 5 version doesn't have many reviews, and the official Atlas Twitter account is only retweeting the Xbox reviews. So there's definitely some Game Pass, money shifting going on there. But we all know that a lot of people at this point, when it comes to this week, where are people putting their money? It's absolutely going to be on the Nintendo Switch version of the game. Many of the people that have already purchased the game on the PlayStation brands of systems and all of that, they've got it on the PS4, they've got it on the PS5 backwards compatible. Are they going to replay it again for a 100-hour RPG? Probably not. There's no free game upgrade or anything like that with PS4 to PS5, and there's no cross save stuff either. So I think a lot of PlayStation fans are just gonna be like, all right, I'll be good with my copy there. Whereas the Xbox Series, it's on Game Pass, so it's always hard to judge what's going on there. I mean, you can buy it separately. So the Nintendo Switch version is definitely a focus right now. People are definitely hyped about that because it gives you that portable experience that the Persona series is so much known for, and people really still love even to this day, with Persona 3 on the PlayStation Portable and also with Persona 4 on the PlayStation Vita. So we are going to get into these reviews here. It has a 93 Metacritic so far based off of the 19 reviews. It's got pretty much all 9s and above. There is one 8.5, and we're gonna go over some of the reviews here. So I'm counting up the perfect scores so far, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 perfect scores, which is really good for starting out here, and a 93 average like I talked about, so that's also really good as well. So let's go ahead and get right into Game Rant. They gave it a 10 out of 10 and had this to say about the game. From its captivating music and memorable story to its gorgeous style, every aspect of the game seems to mesh together and work incredibly well. Each piece builds up and complements the next until the game is justified in standing atop the RPG genre as royalty. With its release onto PC, Switch, Xbox Series S, Xbox Series X, Persona 5 Royal will finally conquer the last locations it has been absent from, and a whole new set of gamers will get a chance to undoubtedly fall in love with this masterpiece. Now, also, Vandal gave it a 10 out of 10 and had this to say: a masterpiece of a game, risky, a bomb in the gameplay, a masterpiece of the genre, risky, a bomb in the gameplay, a plot that blows up its more than 100 hours, a unique visual identity, catchy music, and an adventure that you won't forget. Atlas in a state of grace with this title turned modern classic that you have no excuse to miss, whatever your platform. Now, Nintendo Life also gave it a 10 out of 10, having this to say: Persona 5 Royal is the very definition of required reading for JRPG fans. A deep and moving story, stylish presentation, amazing soundtrack, and decision-driven gameplay all combine to make for an unforgettable and exceptional experience that proves itself to be every bit deserving of the hype and praise it's already received. While those who have played this elsewhere may want to consider whether Switch's portability is enough of a selling point to justify paying full price to double dip, but it suits it perfectly. Persona 5 Royal remains a game that we absolutely recommend you pick up as soon as you can. This easily stands as one of the very best RPGs of the last decade, and you'd be doing yourself a disservice to miss out. And that's the reason why I was kind of so gung-ho on this game coming over, because I did feel that the portability would add to the value of this game. Persona is a turn-based RPG with a lot of demon grinding, with social links, with a lot of talking, and sitting in front of a TV and playing it isn't always, in my opinion, the best way to play this. And guys, it's not because it's Switch. I actually played it portably back on the PlayStation 4 and the Vita. I use the connection that you can use there, the remote play, and I played it there, and it kind of sucked, but it was cool to have portable Persona 5. So now we finally get a chance to get Persona 5 Royal, the really good edition of the game, portably. That is awesome. And where you can seamlessly change between docked TV play and portable play, to me, this is absolutely worth the double dip, and something that I knew would happen despite people downvoting and telling me that it's never going to happen, you know, but exactly what I said is going to happen is happening now. And people are about to experience how awesome this game is going to be on the Nintendo Switch, especially if you have a Nintendo Switch OLED. Oh, I think that's just going to be lit, being able to switch between the docked play and also with that nice display, considering the colors in this game. Now, RPG Fan gave it a 9.7 out of 10 and had this to say: my experience with Persona 5 Royal on the Nintendo Switch is exactly what I wanted. The game is of exceedingly high quality, and we've known that for years. We've wanted a portable version for a long time, especially considering Persona 3 Portable and Persona 4 Golden both came relatively quickly after their respective releases. It's finally here though, and it's an appealing release for both first-timers and returning players. So exactly what I was saying there, and I didn't even read that beforehand, but pretty much the same thing. The portable play that we're used to with this series is awesome for the style of game that it is, and it sets up, even with the Nintendo Switch version being downgraded quality-wise, it doesn't look as good as the Xbox or PlayStation versions or the PC version. If you're playing that, I guess, on Steam Deck or so, doesn't quite look as good, but what they've been able to do with some of the HD Rumble stuff in there, in addition to the Nintendo Switch OLED, it's just really nice to play on that system. Now, Pocket Tactics gave it a 9 out of 10 and had this to say: Persona 5 Royal is a wonderfully immersive and iconic JRPG featuring striking stylized visuals, fast-paced, turn-based combat, and a unique world full of captivating characters and stunning stories. Though the Switch somewhat stumbles with downscaled visual performance, it provides an otherwise smooth experience, and a novelty of being able to take the Phantom Thieves on the go is certainly a plus. Long live the Phantom Thieves. So absolutely here, I like this take, because yes, it's not going to be as visually pleasing and the 60 frames per second and looking as good. And definitely with this style of game, it's nice to have that smooth animation and all of that with the game. I totally get it. And I'll probably check out the PlayStation 5 version of the game just so I can check it out with that, or maybe even the Xbox Series Game Pass. I don't have Game Pass, but if I ever got like a Pop-Tart or something like that and get the $1 Game Pass, maybe I'll check it out on there or something. But either way, I think that this is a very good and balanced take on it, but I do feel that the portability experience, once again, is a strong motivating factor. Now, also, Nintendo World Report gave it a 9 out of 10 and had this to say: and after several months of student life and stylish fighting, Persona 5 Royal holds up perfectly in its portable form. Okay, so short and sweet there. Now, Cube 3 gave it a 9 out of 10 and had this to say: finally, being able to play Persona 5 Royal on the go is truly a dream come true. There are some downgrades due to limitations of the Nintendo Switch, but the balance between downgrades and retaining enjoyability has been perfected. It is, at last, time to steal some hearts while out and about. And you know what, today I was out and about with my wife. We were shopping, or she was more like shopping for some clothes, and I was grinding out Nopon stones in Xenoblade Chronicles 3, telling myself this is amazing, that while she does this shopping, I'm not bored just looking at my phone, and I can actually grind out some Nopon stones and play Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and that's going to be me with Persona, I think. I got to get some other games done, but I'm definitely going to check it out for you guys, you know, and having it portably is going to be cool. Having it portably obviously is going to be awesome. Now, next up is Screen Rant with a 9 out of 10, and they had this to say: for those who have somehow missed Persona 5 Royal and are still interested in trying the game, it's debatable whether the title's Switch debut is the right platform. There are better options depending on which qualities a player desires. For anyone who wants to be able to return to the beautiful, compelling, and introspective world of Persona 5 Royal at their leisure, however, there's no doubt Persona 5 R on the Nintendo Switch is the best way to do so. Ease of access thanks to the Switch's handheld mode, and the lovely port that leaves very little little wanting make Persona 5 Royal on the Nintendo Switch an easy recommendation. And now also Nintendo with the 9 out of 10, and they had this to say: Persona 5 Royal without any doubt is one of the best and most complete JRPGs on the Nintendo Switch with a correct optimization and performance. It would be good to improve the image resolution sometimes, but this detail does not diminish the quality of this masterful adventure. And remember guys, Sega did do apparently this port in-house, so I'm pretty sure that they did the best that they could considering maybe time constraints and what was going on there. But it does seem like it's a nice, optimized and good port of the game. I think it'd be really cool if they actually had more time and a full dedicated team to make a Switch version. That would be interesting to see what they could come up with, or how much better the port could have been when it comes to the visual qualities of everything. But from what they've done here, I think that it's more than acceptable. Now also Vooks with the 9 out of 10. A lot of 9s, a lot of 10s and a lot of 9s. Persona 5 Royal is, as Persona 5 has always been, an incredibly solid experience on Switch. Royal is the very best version of the game, with tweaks and additions that make it a big step up from the original. It's still far too long, and the added content certainly doesn't ease the pain, but if you can push through, you'll find a game that stands at the top of its genre. So some people are negative in terms of the content with this game because the original game was already 80 plus hours, and they added in a bunch of extra content with the extra semester and the new female protagonist character and everything. So obviously some people are like, man, this is just way too long when it comes down to it. I think that that's one of the reasons why Xenoblade Chronicles 3 decided to kind of put a lot of these stuff in terms of even like main story stuff as side quests, that you don't have to do it. So if you just want to get through, when it comes to the review, you can beat it in maybe 60 hours or 50 hours or so if you just go straight through and playing on easy. And if you're on normal, maybe you do a little bit of side quests for some extra experience or use the Manana cooking. So I think maybe that's the reason why they did that. Otherwise the game would have been a lot longer. But Persona 5 Royal, man, they make you go through a lot of that stuff with the extra side stuff that's kind of like, okay, you don't have to, but you're pretty much going to be playing a lot of the main things. But yeah, you can spend definitely up to 100 plus hours in this game, especially with Persona 5 Royal. Now last but definitely not least, we have 180's review out of all of them here. COG connected with an 8.5 out of 10. The real question here isn't, is Persona 5 Royal Switch version worth playing? It's, is this a good place to pick up Persona 5 for the first time? The answer is a solid yes. If you've never had a chance to play Persona 5 before, this is a great place to start. So yeah, awesome stuff from all the different reviewers there. I think that I agree with some of the stuff that they were saying. I feel that, yeah, there are some visual downgrades compared to the Xbox and PlayStation and PC, but what you're getting here is pretty awesome with the portable play. If you're looking at just the game itself, it's an incredible game. It's one of those games that you're definitely going to want to go back to and play. You know, it's one of those games that just has so much content in there, and you can really just get lost and immersed in the game, especially if you have some nice headphones and you kind of plug them in and just play portably. I mean, I suggest for all my NFL fans out there, NBA, playing it during the games, that's going to be something where you can grind out a lot of time. And I think that with the Royal version of the game, the mementos has been so greatly improved. It's going to be so much more fun going in there portably and doing this, because honestly, guys, I had to grind to get through Persona 5 Royal on the PlayStation 4, because by that time that the Royal version came out, I did not have my Vita in order to where I was going to do that again, because it would just disconnect every time that I use remote play, and the Switch had already been out. So I'm just like, man, I'll just wait for the Switch version when it comes down to it. But I did kind of go through it again with Royal. But this time, like I said, I think it's going to be cool for fans to be able to pick up this type of game on the Nintendo Switch and enjoy. I feel that the reviews here are very spot on, and this is awesome. This is something that I felt would happen with the Nintendo Switch with Persona 5 Royal, because it needed to happen. And I think that the big question here for a lot of people is, okay, how's the game going to sell? Which we are going to have another video on that once we get some more information. But as of right now, what I'm seeing is pretty good. If you go on the Amazon bestsellers for video games, Persona 5 Royal is number 11 on the list. So that's very good with new releases. If you go on the Amazon Japan, it's also in the top 20 as well. So it seems like the game is going to do solid when it comes to physical sales, and it should do well digitally as well. I think that Persona 5 Royal, this new release, will probably sell best on the Nintendo Switch since Xbox is Game Pass and PS5. I think a lot of people are kind of burnt with Atlas not doing a upgrade path or doing the cross save feature. I think a lot of them are like, man, I'm just gonna play it on something else or just not play it at all because I already beat the game. So I think that the Switch version is going to make a ton of money and sell very well. I'm definitely seeing at least minimum, the floor is 1 million units sold when it's all said and done at lifetime to date. But I think that Atlas is going to be looking at this and saying, okay, well, what do Switch players have? After all of that crying and complaining, we need to see some sales. But so far, so good when it comes to pre-orders and everything on Amazon. And I'm guessing the eShop is going to be good as well, because this is one of those games that you might want to have digitally. You know, some people, you know, they don't want to be putting the cart in and out. It's going to be a game that they play for a very long period of time. So I think digital sales for a game like this are also going to be pretty good. RPGs, or at least big RPGs, have historically done well on the Nintendo Switch eShop. Games like Xenoblade Chronicles 2 when that launched, games like Xenoblade Chronicles 3 as well. Some of the Ys games have done pretty good too. So I feel that big RPGs do well on the Nintendo Switch eShop. I think Nier Automata as well. And even if you're looking at it, the file size for this game isn't large either. It's underneath the 16 gigabyte requirement. So it's not like this game's gonna eat up all the space on your micro SD cards. What do you guys think about all this when it comes to Persona 5 Royal on the Nintendo Switch, the reviews and everything? I'm very happy this game has finally came out, and I will be having my impressions on the Nintendo Switch version. Nintendo is hooking me up with something at some point. I'm getting something from them, so I should be getting that very soon, so then we can check it out, maybe in a live stream or maybe just in edited videos. But either way, I will be talking about it more going forward. So what are you guys' thoughts on everything here? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and we will see you for the next video. Peace.